welcome to Stretch and Release. I'm Coach Wade.
I'm Coach Mackenzie.
And today we're going to be stretching out through the entire body, but we're going to start with some breathing here first. So you can start this breathing in a standing position. I'll have Mackenzie start standing. I'm going to come down to my knees. A lot of times I feel like you can feel this a little bit more when you're down and you take some of that pressure off your feet. But we're going to spend about 30 to 45 seconds here just taking in some deep breaths. So right now, taking a full deep breath in. Try and let that air come in through your nose and then fill up your chest, your lungs, and even feel your stomach rise. And then slowly exhaling down. You can exhale out your nose or your mouth, but another deep breath in. And a slow exhale out. We're going to do about 10 of these breaths, so take your time with them. Deep breath in. And exhale out. Every exhale, you should feel all that air pushing out of your body. Deep breath in. And every inhale, trying to fill your chest, your lungs, and your stomach. But every exhale, your shoulders should be relaxing down. You should feel your body kind of relax. Your stretch, as we move into those stretches, you'll feel all of your stretches get a little bit deeper as you exhale your breath. So every inhale, you feel all that air fill your body. Every exhale, you'll feel all your stretches get deeper. You'll feel that relaxation kind of sink down. You'll feel that in the foam rolling. You'll feel that in the stretching. But trying to focus on this deep breathing the entire time if you can. One last deep breath in. And a slow exhale out, allowing those shoulders to sink down. And then we'll be moving into a foam roll through the lats here first. Mackenzie's going to show you on the ground. With the lats, that's usually the best way to do it, but you can also do this against the wall. If you happen to have very tight lats, doing it against the wall here is an option. It's a little bit easier. You won't have to have as much body weight into that. But you'll have the arm stretched overhead. You can have that palm up or down, and then you're going to be getting from the armpit down to mid-torso. I'm just rolling back and forth for now. We're not spending a lot of time rolling, just a little bit here, but you're looking for those spots that are a little bit tender, those adhesions. You might feel like it's a little bump. You might feel like it's a little bit more tender than some of the areas around it. Usually it's the most tender spot in that area is going to be the spot that you want to spend the most tension and pressure on. But if you find that spot, feel free to just keep tension on it, and you can rotate your hand back and forth to release some of that tension and dig in there a little bit deeper, or you can just put your body weight on it and leave it there for a second. But we'll spend about 30 to 60 seconds doing each side of the lats there. So when you're winding that down, Mackenzie has another option to show us for a little bit more intense.
Into the chest,
yeah.
You're going to find that tender spot right into that armpit, and you're just going to roll forward, putting your weight into that chest muscle, and then bring it back into that starting position. This is the most tender part of your chest, so we're just focusing on where that pec muscle meets the shoulder part. You're going to feel a lot of tension. You can add more pressure by lifting those hips off the ground. A lot of times our shoulders are naturally rounded with our lifestyle, like walking around, typing on the computer, and being on our phones. Just loosening up those shoulders so they can correct our posture as we loosen it up.
And after you spend about 30 to 60 seconds there, go ahead and switch sides. So if you're doing your left, make sure you're transitioning to your right. If you did your right, transition to your left. But same thing through the lats, arm up. Right now, as you're rolling through the lats, you guys kind of had a feel of how that felt the first go round. Try really hard to incorporate that breath this time around. So as you're exhaling, trying to feel your lats, your shoulders, your neck, all relax, release that tension, and you'll actually feel that the foam roller can get in there just a little bit deeper. So the more you're able to relax your muscles, the deeper you can get in and get that myofascial release through the muscle. So a big goal here is to try and release that tension, relax. It's very common when you have pain going on, as in pushing against it, that your body just tightens up naturally. So try really hard not to tighten up. Allow your body to relax more and more, and then heading in through that chest on the next one.
Yep, so we're just tucking it into that armpit and then leaning forward, adding more pressure into that shoulder, into the chest, and then rolling back through. And again, just hold and breathe. You'll feel tightness in the chest. Push through, let the tension leave as you exhale, and then inhale, returning into start.
Once you finish that side, we have a couple stretches for you. We may not have time for them all today, but we'll do the best we can. So we might move just a little quicker through some of these. For our lats, we have 2 stretches that we're going to be doing. I'll have Mackenzie kind of walk us through the 2 versions.
So the first one, it's gonna focus on the lats a little bit more than the whole entire arm. We're gonna place our elbows, thumbs facing you, onto that table or bench or couch. You're gonna sink your head in between your biceps. So you'll feel a pull here. To add more tension, you're gonna cross your arms over and they're gonna meet the back of your shoulders. Okay, and as you do so, you're pressing your nose down to the floor, sinking those hips back. You'll feel a pull on the lats, underneath the armpit. In here too, you want to breathe and exhale your way into a deeper stretch.
And like she said, her version is just a little bit more intense. You'll feel that more on the lats. If you want to join me for mine, my version is just a little bit easier on the lats. You'll get a few more stretches through some more muscles in the forearms, but you're not getting quite as deep a stretch through the lats. But spending about 5 more seconds here before we move on to our next one. And relax. Next, moving on to a butterfly stretch. So 2 options for this one. We'll actually do slightly different versions of this one. I'll have Mackenzie pull her feet as close to her as she can, trying to get those way up, and you'll find that your knees kind of come up as you pull them in quite a bit. And she's not going to be able to lean as far forward into this stretch. I'm going to keep my feet out a little bit, and then both of us are trying to come forward while keeping our knees pressed down and slowly allowing yourself to sink deeper and deeper into that stretch, coming closer and closer to the ground. The version I'm doing with my feet further forward is stretching a little bit more of my lower back. Her version with her feet very close isn't allowing her to come as far forward, but that stretch is allowing her to stretch out her hip adductors just a little bit more. Hip adductors. But some nice deep breaths, deep breath in. Let that air fill your chest, lungs, and stomach. And exhaling out, sink just a little deeper into that stretch.
If you feel tall, just lead with the chest forward rather than rounding over top of your shoes. So lead with the chest and the chin.
And then Mackenzie has a little twist to the stretch.
Okay, so you're just going to be loose in your butterfly. So somewhere in between feet far and feet really close. You're going to take your right arm to your right knee and then your left elbow to your left knee. And you're going to push your right hand away from you and you're going to gaze over top of that right arm. So Wade's going to look over his right shoulder and you're gazing at the ceiling. You'll feel a pull in the low back. It's a quadratus laborum. It's a small, wide, and tight muscle on your low back that sometimes gets tense with the way that we sit. And just breathe, and as you breathe, push that right arm away from you. And return back into the center. We're going to do the other side. So your left hand is pushing your left knee away. Right elbow is pushing your right knee. Gaze left over top of that left shoulder. As you gaze, we're pushing away from us. You'll feel that back and the low back. It's a really hard muscle to target, but this is a great way to do so. As you exhale, we're getting a little bit deeper, working on our T rotation, our T-spine rotation as well. One more exhale, and relax.
All right. We got one stretch left here. This is going to be a stretch for the hips. We'll do 2 different versions again. Mackenzie's going to do a little bit more intense version, and I'll do just a little easier version. So
it's called Cradle the Baby. It's going to target your hips a lot. So let's tuck our left knee underneath us, nice and tight to that body. Try to maintain a good posture throughout this, and then take the right leg on top. And you're just going to let your hips relax. You'll feel it in the top leg on the outside all the way through the hip. My hands are going to be behind me just to support, just to get that nice posture so you're not rounding. And you can just adjust as you need to. You might get deeper the longer that you hold the stretch as well.
And some people can't do that stretch. So this other version is a little bit more simple to start. It's a great way to progress into that stretch, but you'll just have your leg crossed over, your right leg crossed over your left. That left knee can help prop your leg up if you want. Otherwise, you can hold that leg kind of like a baby, which is why why it's called cradle to baby, because you can wrap your hands around and pretend you have a newborn in your hands. But if you're trying to get both of these stretches, stretch out through the hips, right across the glutes there, you should feel quite a bit. Both stretches, you want to think about head tall, chest out, stomach tight, and then your shoulders down and back, trying to keep good form and posture during each one. But after you finish that side, go ahead and switch.
So my right leg is underneath me into that left glute, and then I'm hugging on top of my left leg and then placing my foot down. And then again, nice and tall posture.
You may find you can even do her version of the stretch on one leg but not the other. A lot of people have one imbalance on one side, but maybe not the same range of motion on the other side. So I noticed I could do it a lot better on my left side than I can on my right, but both sides were very challenging on that one. So, and on my version, the closer you pull that to your chest, the more you'll feel that stretch through the side. But taking a couple more deep breaths. And rest. But that's pretty much it for today. Hopefully you had fun. Got a little stretch in, you're feeling a lot better afterwards. I'm Coach Wade.
I'm Coach Mackenzie.
And thanks for joining us.